and more.
From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Laddie Williams.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, the Niger Democratic Congress turns talk into action. Zone's 2027 presidential ticket to the South holds its first national convention. And Social Democratic Party endorses Adewale Adebayo as sole candidate and flag bearer for the 2027 presidential election. Another SDP group led by Shehu Gabam describes Bauchi Convention as an act of desperation. And UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer comes under pressure following heavy Labour election losses across England, Scotland and Wales. And on sports news, women's world #1 and tournament favourite Aryna Sabalenka crashes out of Italian Open following losses to Sorana Cîrstea. The Niger Democratic Congress, NDC, will be fielding its presidential candidates for the 2027 general election from the southern parts of the country. As its leadership zoned to the slot to the region are the zoning of the presidential ticket and the ratification of the party's amended constitution, with some of the resolutions reached by the leadership of the party as it held her national convention in Abuja. Also approved was the decision of the National Executive Committee to ratify members of the existing National Committee as substantive national executives of the party.
The Nigerian Democratic Congress, the NDC, is holding her national convention in Abuja, and former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, and former Kano State Governor, Rabiu Kwankwaso, are attending along with other party leaders. The business of the day is to elect principal national officers for the party. After motions were moved and seconded by members, the convention ratified key decisions, including that of the party's amended constitution and the election of principal national officers by affirmation.
Let this convention therefore send a clear, unmistakable message across Nigeria that the Democratic Congress is organized, disciplined, united, fully prepared to provide purposeful leadership for our country.
The convention also took a key decision regarding the zoning of its presidential candidate for the 2027 general election.
Fellow delegates, a short while ago, this inaugural convention, in the national interest for which the NDC is established to foster, we have taken a historic resolution. That is about zoning of the next presidential ticket of our party to the southern part of Nigeria.
One after another, some prominent members of the party addressed the gathering, expressing confidence in the party's ability to win the 2027 general election.
Today is a great day. Let us go home and start the work. The work starts today. The work is ensuring that we chase out all these people, all those who agreed that you can forge certificates, all those who agreed that doing the wrong yes, sir. This is the man who used to rebuild Nigeria. A new Nigeria is. A new Nigeria is. The leadership we shall set will therefore restore Nigeria's dignity and will guarantee that our citizens at home and the diaspora will be treated with respect and dignity.
The NDC has been described by political watchers as the new bride ahead of the 2027 general election, owing to the number of recent defectors from other political parties. A development members say has further enhanced the party's prospect in the 2027 general election.
And former Vice President and Chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, the ADC, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, has officially obtained his payment receipt for purchase of the party's presidential election nomination form ahead of the 2027 general elections. The payment for the 90 million naira nomination form was made on May 8, 2026. The ADC disclosed this in a post on its official X handle today. According to the post, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, GCON, has officially received his payment receipt to contest under the platform of the African Democratic Congress ahead of the 2027 presidential election. The ADC describes the development as another significant moment in the growing movement for national renewal, democratic inclusion, and people-driven leadership within the ADC, adding that the party remains committed to providing a strong platform built on unity, competence, economic recovery, security, as well as national progress. OSC, staying with politics now, the Social Democratic Party, SDP, held its national convention in Bauchi, where it elected Professor Sadiq Gombe as the national chairman of the party. Speaking shortly after being sworn in alongside other members of the National Working Committee, Professor Gombe said the SDP remains the most qualified political platform to take over leadership in the country come 2027.
Nigeria today is bleeding. Nigeria is in dire need of upright, committed, and patriotic leadership. As asphalt are to the road construction, the roads are to the building construction, so are political parties to our democracy. I want to assure you the SDP under our watch will lead with all sense of transparency, responsibility, commitment to the well-being of the members and the generality of Nigerians. Nigeria is built to be the third most populous nation on earth after India and China in the next 20 or so years to come. So we have to be apt and doing to be able to provide the alternative platform yearning for by Nigerians. I want to assure you the SDP will be that platform and that alternative for the rescue mission of our dear country.
Mr. Adewale Adebayo has also been picked as the party's sole presidential candidate for the 2027 election. In his acceptance speech, he promised to work towards building a nation that will work for everyone.
Therefore, let us focus on the next challenge. I can tell you, by the grace of Almighty God, inshallah, by May 27, 2027, Tinubu is gone. But don't let us waste the subsidy of Tinubu being gone. The way Tinubu wasted the subsidy of petrol. Let us not waste our votes. It will be the greatest tragedy, and God forbid, that after Tinubu's terrible underperformance, misbehavior, malfeasance, corruption, that the next president will look like him. Let Tinubu not laugh at us and say, you have kicked me out now. See, the person who replaced me is even worse than me. So we need to be cautious. We need to come together. I appeal to the opposition elements in Nigeria. By opposition, I don't mean politicians. Anybody who opposes corruption, who opposes insecurity, who opposes cheating, who opposes division, tribalism, who opposes injustice, they are the real opposition. Forget about your differences about religion, ethnicity, gender, age, political party. Come together. Rally with the SDP.
And the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Mr. Shehu Gabam, has described a convention held in the name of the party at Bauchi State as an act of desperation which has no validation by the Electoral Act 2026. Mr. Gabam, who was reacting to the national convention organized by some members of the party, led by the party's 2023 presidential candidate, says the convention lacks all legitimacy and it's impossible for the electoral umpire to recognize such gathering. He further notes that the SDP under his leadership will contract its primaries to elect a presidential candidate for the 2027 general election.
We as political actors that have evolved over a period of time, we are used to this game. We are used to external forces putting everything humanly possible to distract party that have come of age with capacity to drive the system. And I'm happy that the day I was to resume here, you have seen the drama that took place, simply because one individual wanted to perpetuate himself as a presidential candidate of the party, funding all these distractions here and there. The whole ultimate aim is for him to emerge as a presidential candidate. And I'm happy also to say that I saw them attacking INEC, which means INEC have told them that what they are doing is not in line, is not in consonance with the Electoral Act as amended 2026. INEC is an institution, and INEC was established by law to register parties and regulate the behaviors of political parties. And our constitution is very clear. Chairman preside over all party activities. It's compulsory that the chairman must chair NWC, must chair NEC, must chair convention. But what I saw, they appointed one Dr. Bugaji to be the chairman of the convention, which I'm sure is not even the member of the party. So a lot of funny things happen, which I believe is okay. When people are desperate, you can see a lot of things happening. We are not. We are experienced people. We are used to turbulence. And you can see we are very stable.
And political party activities are gathering momentum in the Ekiti State ahead of the primary elections of the All Progressives Congress for the National Assembly seat. Contrary to earlier expectations of consensus arrangement in some constituencies, indications now suggest that the contest may be fiercely competitive.
As aspirants seeking tickets for National Assembly seats on the platform of the All Progressives Congress in Ekiti State prepare for primaries in the coming weeks, the contest appears set to be more intense than earlier predicted. Of particular interest is the Ekiti North Senatorial District, which has become a battleground of sorts of political heavyweights amid the reluctance of major aspirants to step down for incumbent lawmakers. There had been reports suggesting possible automatic endorsements for the incumbent senator and federal lawmakers, with alleged moves by influential figures within the party to persuade other aspirants to shelve their ambitions. The incumbents and those eyeing their seats will now have to slug it out at the primaries.
I am comfortable in my skin to say that the people that I know, who also know me in the manner in which they know me, the man who built a 32-bed hospital by the grace of God and equipped it, fully equipped, and gave it to government to shore up the medical system of the state, is the one that is coming back to them to ask for their votes.
When I went to the Senate, to the glory of God, I was able to make a significant difference in the life of my people in this senatorial district. And that is why everybody is saying this senator has to go back. I only spent 4 years, and I was able to attract a federal university to this senatorial district.
But the incumbents believe their scorecards are good enough for another term.
The product of primary, and I'm well rooted. I'm a grassroots person. I'm well loved by the people, and I have done my bits to affect life in my federal constituency. I've also touched so many personal developments. I believe my record will speak for me at the poll.
As political observers express concerns over the possible fallout from the highly competitive ambitions and interests within the district, the APC leadership in the state says it remains confident that the process will be effectively managed.
In the first instance, they may come to an agreement and say, okay, I'm stepping down. That may happen. And where we are not able to achieve that, then you have the direct primary option.
The coming days are expected to shape political developments in Ekiti State, particularly how the ruling party navigates what is gradually emerging as one of its most competitive primary elections in recent times.
And in part two, after the break, National Security Advisor Sanuru Rabadu meets U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, discusses reforms and operational measures taken by the federal government to improve national security. That's in a moment. Do stay with us.
Some of life's biggest joys begin with the smallest moments: a shared laugh, a proud smile, and a playful dance full of life. That's why nourishment should fit every moment, so you're always ready. Maltina, nourishment fit for you. Nourishing minds, sharing happiness for 50 years.
Oh. You feel that?
Feel what?
The crash zone.
Crash what?
The crash zone. It builds suspense, uncovers evidence, foreshadows danger. You feel it now?
Oh yeah.
I guess I'll go and try and find a ladder.
Life is more than just living. For the Igbo man, each new day is a chance to turn his dreams into business. And for every milestone reached, life is there to be enjoyed and shared.
My name is Lady Antonia Okeke, live beer merchant here in Aba. I remember my husband do tell us story of how he did his boy in Enugu. The little training he got there helped him to establish his business. The number one challenge then, finance. But to the glory of God, we are able to be where we are now. In Aba today, you cannot talk of any young growing businessmen that are doing well in beer without first mentioning Celestine Okeke. This one boy system is all about integrity.
If you are given some goods to sell, make sure you sell them, return the money, take another one. Before you know it, you will excel.
Life always promoting Igbos and life for the Igbos.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories now. The Niger Democratic Congress turns talk into action. Zone's 2027 presidential ticket to the south holds its first national convention. Social Democratic Party endorses Adewale Adebayo as sole candidate and flag bearer for the 2027 presidential election. And another SDP group led by Shehu Gabam describes Bauchi Convention as an act of desperation. And UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer comes under pressure following heavy Labour election losses across England, Scotland and Wales. And 25 female vice chairmen across the local government areas of Niger State have unanimously endorsed President Bola Tinubu and Governor Umaru Bago for a second term in office, citing their impactful policies and developmental projects. The endorsement was announced during a press briefing held in Mina by the chairperson of the Niger State Forum of Vice Chairmen and Vice Chairman of Chachaga Local Government Area, Safia Nasiri. Speaking on behalf of the forum, Safia Nasiri said the endorsement ahead of the 2027 general elections was based on their conviction that Governor Bago has redefined governance in Niger State through courage, innovation and purposeful leadership. Nasiri also commended President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, noting that despite prevailing global economic challenges, the president has continued to implement bold reforms aimed at repositioning Nigeria for long-term prosperity, stability and economic growth.
Of His Excellency, the former Governor Muhammad Umar Bago and His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for a well-deserved second term in office. Our endorsement is not based on sentiments or political rhetoric. It is based on visible achievement, transformational leadership, measurable development, and the undeniable progress that our people can see and feel across the Niger State and Nigeria at large. Under the visionary leadership of Governor Umaru Mohammed Bago, Niger State has witnessed one of the most remarkable transformations in its history. Today, Niger State is increasingly being recognized and spoken as one of the fastest developing and best governed states in Nigeria. At the national level, we also commend the bold leadership and renewal hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Despite global economic challenge, his administration continued to implement courageous reform aimed at repositioning Nigeria for long-term prosperity, stability, and economic growth.
And now we see the push for political inclusion ahead of the 2027 governorship election in Imo State appears to be gaining momentum as stakeholders from the Ohaji, Ebema and Oguta oil-producing areas insist that the proposed state charter of equity must translate into practical justice and representation. At a press conference in Owerri, the Imo State capital, stakeholders say the time has come for the oil-bearing communities to produce the next governor of the state, citing decades of contribution to the economy amid what they described as neglect and marginalization. Our Imo State correspondent, Iyitope Kutei, has the details in the report.
Ohaji, Ebema and Oguta local government areas remain the backbone of Imo State's oil and gas production. The area also hosts one of the largest onshore gas reserves in Africa. Stakeholders say the region's natural resources have significantly boosted federal allocations to the state and secured Imo's place within the Niger Delta Development Commission, NSCDC. Gathered here in Owerri for a press briefing, these concerned parties from the oil-rich areas say despite the rich economic resources, the area isn't gaining significant concentration politically, especially as conversation surrounding Imo State's 2027 governorship election is gradually taking shape.
We are trying to ensure, in fact, oil producing community, as I speak, there is a movement, there is a committee, that want to storm the National Assembly. That year should what? Be amended, repealed and amended, because it is, counterproductive. It's counterproductive and inhumanity to what? Oil producing communities.
The only two local governments recognized by our constitution today as an oil producing communities, Ohaji, Ebema and Oguta. So we are being marginalized. Our fund is being utilized in other areas.
They are demanding that Ohaji Egbema and Oguta produce the next governor of Imo State in 2027, and according to them, this will restore confidence and address years of alleged neglect.
We have some strategic demands we wish to make, and those demands are as follows. There have been the much touted Imo Charter of Equity, talking about power shift. Yes, the people of Hajebema and Uguta are in support of power shift, but that power shift we support has to be internal, in the sense that we are demanding that any power shift in Imo State in 2028 has to shift to Hajebema and Uguta. Our people deserve a shot at the #1 office in the state.
As political alignments and real 7 continue to unfold, the oil-producing communities of Ohaji, Egbema, and Oguta insist that the Charter of Equity must go beyond political rhetorics and reflect fairness, inclusion, and justice for communities they say have contributed to development of Imo State for decades. Iyitokwekuteyi, Channels Television News.
And elsewhere in the news, the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, held a strategic meeting with the United States Vice President J.D. Vance, where he briefed him on ongoing reforms and operational measures being taken by the federal government to improve national security, stabilize communities affected by insecurity, and address the root causes of the menace. A statement by the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy to the President, Mr. Bayo Ononuga, he noted that Mr. Ribadu undertook a 3-day working visit to the U.S. from May 4th to May 6th, where he held a series of high-level engagements with senior officials of the U.S. government. He conveyed President Bola Tinubu's strong commitment to further strengthening ongoing collaboration in counterterrorism, defense cooperation, intelligence sharing, regional security, economic resilience, as well as democratic governance. He also delivered President Tinubu's commitment to deepen Nigeria's long-standing strategic partnership with the United States. Mr. Ribadu also met with the U.S. Acting National Security Advisor and Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and the Undersecretary for Political Affairs, Alison Hooker, and the Assistant Secretary of War, Daniel Zimmer. The meetings provided an opportunity for both sides to review the current state of Nigeria-United States relations and to further strengthen ongoing collaborations. And in Kebbi State, unknown persons have brutally murdered a middle-aged man and his wife in a Sara village located in Jega local government area of the state. The victims, identified as 45-year-old Muhammad Haruna and his 35-year-old wife, Habiba Abubakar, were reportedly killed in the early hours of Saturday at their residence in the Asarara area. Family members and residents described the late Muhammad Haruna as a peaceful and quiet individual who was not known for conflicts or disputes within the community, as they expressed shock over the tragic incident, saying they could not immediately identify anyone who may have had disagreements with him. According to local sources, the incident has thrown the entire community into mourning as neighbors and sympathizers gathered at the family house following the discovery of the killings. The couple is survived by 6 children, including 4 boys and 2 girls, who have now been left orphaned following the tragic incident. Confirming the incident to Channels Television, the Kebbi State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Bashir Usman, said the police had launched the investigation to the incident. The police spokesperson added that security operators were on top of the situation and called on residents of the area to remain calm and cooperate with investigators. And staying with security, the special squad of the Niger Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, have announced the arrest of 10 car-snatching syndicates, vandals, and other criminals operating within the nation's capital environs. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the public relations officer of the Corps, Babawale Afolabi, says the Special Intelligence Squad acted on the directive of the Controller General following credible intelligence on the activities of the criminal elements in the state. Mr. Babawale explains that successful operations launched by the squad led to the arrest of 6 suspects: Hassan Bukar, Adam Musa, also known as Yellow, Ibrahim Haruna, aka Biggie, Adamu Mohammed, Sahal Abdullahi Aliyu, and Abubakar Yusuf. The suspects were arrested at various hideouts for car snatching and theft, while some members of the syndicate are still at large.
All the suspects have given voluntary information on how they operate and carry out their activities across the states earlier mentioned. We have been adequately briefed by the Commandant General Special Intelligence Squad, Commandant A.F. Dandawara, who narrated how the effective operations that led to the arrest of these notorious syndicates were carried out. The following exhibits were recovered at the point of arrest: a Toyota Corolla LE 2005, a Honda EOD 2004 model, a Toyota Corolla CE, a Toyota Corolla 1998 model, a Honda Accord 2008 model, 8 different vehicle particulars, and 61 different vehicle plate numbers. Also, 2 suspects were arrested by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps operatives attached to Boa International Cement Factory, Propeller, Esoko East in Edo State. This was a joint operation with the Commandant General Special Intelligence Squad. The suspects are Good Day Okagbi and Monday Precious. They were arrested with 4 24-liters jerrycan of hydraulics and have made confessions to their various involvement in the crime.
And the Imo State Amotekun Corps says over 140 suspects are being prosecuted for offences including kidnapping, cultism, and violation of the anti-open grazing law in the past 1 month. The Corps Commander, Aditunji Adeleye, disclosed this while briefing journalists at the headquarters of the agency in Akure, the state capital, adding that 64 other suspects are being profiled for possible prosecution. Mr. Adeleye also revealed that Amotekun operatives arrested 4 suspected members of a gang linked to kidnapping and armed robbery across the state and have been handed over to the DSS for further investigation. He added that joint security operations are ongoing in forests across Imo State to flush out criminal elements, assuring residents that there will be no hiding place for criminals.
The group that claimed responsibility for a number of violent robbery attacks, kidnapping, and wanton destruction of properties. The group leader that takes directives from somewhere outside the state was apprehended. Their supply line was broken and apprehended, and 1 or 2 other members of this group were equally apprehended in a very fierce operation carried out by men of the Imo State Security Network Agency. Because of the sensitive nature of the criminal activities of this group, they are going to be handed over to the Department of State Security Services for further interrogation and possible prosecution.
And still to come, the Development Bank of Nigeria secures a $61 million AFDB facility to expand credit access for women-owned MSMEs across Nigeria. That's a moment. Just stay with us.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow. For visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow. For your shade of beautiful.
Welcome back. Well, still in security matters now. The Delta State Police Command says it recorded a major breakthrough in its sustained crackdown on armed robbery and burglary syndicates operating within Warri and its environs, with the arrest of members of a notorious gang specializing in the robbery of solar shops, electronic stores, and churches. The police, in a statement by its spokesperson, Bright Edafe, said the arrest followed an investigation into a reported armed robbery incident in Okokoko community by operatives of Oreokwe Division, where 4 armed men operating in a gold-colored Toyota Sienna with registration number EFR 118XB invaded a solar shop, held a sales representative at gunpoint, tied her with a rope, and carted away solar batteries, inverters, phones, and other equipment valued at about 15 million naira. Acting on the report, the other related complaints from churches and business owners, operatives launched an intelligence-led operation targeting the syndicate responsible for the series of robberies. And turning now to anti-corruption matters, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has declared a former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Farouk, wanted over alleged diversion of public funds, abuse of office, and alleged criminal conspiracy. According to the EFCC notice, Farouk, 52, is an indigent of Zamfara State, and the last known address was number 8 Upper River off Agulu Street, Maitama, Abuja. The notice, signed by the head of media and publicity, Dele Aoyewale, urged members of the public with relevant information on her whereabouts to contact the Commission's offices nationwide and also contact the nearest police station. She was the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development under the administration of ex-President Muhammadu Buhari from 2019 to 2023. And in other developments, some suckers come to the way of Adamawa State Specialist Hospital, Yola, and the State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency with a donation to their institutions, medical and rehabilitation equipment worth about 200 million naira by the Economic Community of West African States. The intervention is aimed at addressing rising cases of drug abuse as part of a broader regional effort in combating drug abuse and improve victim reintegration.
Officials of the Adamawa State Ministry of Health and that of the NDLA Adamawa Command are here at the Adamawa State Ministry of Health to receive the medical and rehabilitation equipment donated by ECOWAS. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Pharmacist Zira Matthias, receives the equipment in company of the Commander, NDLA Adamawa Command, Aliyu Abubakar, and the Managing Director, Specialist Hospital Yola, Dr. Dauda Wadenga. The head of ECOWAS Drug Prevention and Control Division, Abuja, Dr. Daniel Amakwa, explains the reason for the intervention.
Specifically, ECOWAS has provided over 200 million naira equipment to support 2 centers here in Adamawa. The first center, the State Specialist Center, and then we have the Drug Treatment Center. So these items that you see behind me are provided by the ECOWAS Commission to support drug treatment and rehabilitation in the state.
Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary, Ministry for Health and Human Services, Zira Matthias, says the Adamawa government has already established a committee on drug abuse in collaboration with relevant stakeholders.
Those items that are donated will be able to make the treatment center conducive for those people that are being rehabilitated, so to have a great impact in the state.
The officials thank ECOWAS for the donation, as it will improve rehabilitation and counseling, especially for the youth.
The problem is not even waiting in law, but treatment. Treatment of drug addiction is very difficult and expensive because it's even the time for rehabilitation is very long. So even if you treat them, if they go back to the same community that's supplying them drugs, it still becomes a problem. So all states must be involved. The media must be involved to tell, to highlight to people that dangers of drugs, it affects the health and performance of child in school, and it makes somebody irresponsible. We have been appealing to all critical stakeholders to assist us in making sure the facility is at least a little bit comfortable for our clients and victims of drug. Thank God, like I said, ECOWAS have done the best that we have been expecting, and to God be the glory, we have received very, very useful equipment that can assist us in making sure our clients are very comfortable.
The items include drugs, hospital beds, and standing fans, among other items.
And to environmental matters now, the Edo State government has warned residents against illegal dumping of refuse, stating that adequate measures have been put in place to ensure effective waste disposal across the state. Managing Director of the Edo State Waste Management Board, Loke Neita Negbene, gave the warning during a sensitization campaign tagged Litter Free Edo, held across major streets in Benin City. He emphasized that residents are expected to patronize only accredited waste managers approved by the state government, warning that anyone caught dumping refuse illegally will be prosecuted according to the law.
We are not where we used to be, but we are not where we want to be. We want a litter-free Edo. We want Edo we all can be proud of. We want Edo where people will come and say, oh, the state is so beautiful, the state is clean. Please, let's do this together. Patronize your waste collectors. We have waste collectors across various local governments. Please, register with them, patronize them, give them your waste. Because if our tax force comes to your house, if they request for your receipt and you're unable to provide it, you have your day in court. The era of saying, I have ways of disposing my waste is over. You must do the right thing. You must patronize the waste collector. Waste collectors, the government accredited waste collectors are the right agents to carry your waste. Please, there is no any other means. Patronize them. Then to the dump site, as I speak to you today, our dump sites are fully operational. In some local government, we have 3. Like over there, for example, we have 3 dump sites. Because before now, it was a big challenge. You know, after carrying waste, collecting waste from house to house, the waste collectors find it difficult to dispose their waste. But today, reverse is the case. We have Juanilo fully operational, we have Igbo, those are fully operational, we have our fully operational, just one local government, and so on and so forth. So if it goes, we have 3, we have 2. So I can boldly say today that the 18 local governments, at least there is minimum of 1 dump site fully operational and being maintained by the state.
To corporate social responsibility now, infrastructure at the Anambra State Orientation Camp of a National Youth Service Corps, Umwalu and Mbauku, have received a boost with the commissioning of the Professor Chukwuma Soludo NYSC Ceremonial Pavilion, a 200-seat facility donated by the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Martin the Rock Limited, Mr. Martin Azorji. The project is aimed at enhancing the quality of official ceremonies and activities within the orientation camp while reinforcing support for youth development and institutional growth.
It's the commissioning of the Professor Chukwuma Soludo 200-seating capacity ceremonial pavilion situated at the Nnamdi Azikiwe National Youth Service Corps Unity Permanent Orientation Camp, Umwawulu, Umbaku. The ceremony starts with the representative of the Anambra State Governor and Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth Entrepreneurship, Mr. Ifeatu Emodi, taking the salute by the Guard of Honor mounted by the corps members. Key stakeholders at the event include the representative of the Director General of the NYSC and Deputy Director, Southeast Area 1 Office, Mr. Christopher Eze, the Anambra State NYSC Camp Director, Mrs. Pauline Ojishua, among others. And for them, this gesture represents a milestone in enhancing the quality of official ceremonies and activities within the orientation camp.
Your commitment, sir, to youth development continue to uplift and encourage us all. As we commission this pavilion today, we do so with gratitude, pride, and renewed hope. May this serve to generations of corps members with joy and purpose.
The donor and Chief Executive Officer of Martson The Rock Limited, Mr. Ezioji, commends the honoree, Governor Soludo, while reaffirming that projects which create conducive environments for young people remain vital to national growth.
A 200-seater pavilion may appear on the surface to be a simple gift, but consider what it truly represents. It is a covered space from morning assemblies, for lectures, for orientation sessions, for cultural events, and community dialogue.
The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Youth Entrepreneurship, who represented the governor, commends the gesture while encouraging more private sector support for educational and youth-focused initiatives.
It's an edifice for people here in the camp to use for their meetings and for all manner of engagements within this camp. We pray that this edifice will continue to be here, that it will serve core members for generations to come.
200 seater pavilion.
The event rounds off with the commissioning of the Professor Chukwuma Soludo 200-seating capacity NYSC ceremonial pavilion, the unveiling of the name and presentation of souvenir to the donor, Mr. Martin Ezioji, by the Anambra State NYSC community.
And now to fiscal matters. The Lagos State government has announced plans to streamline taxation and eliminate illegal levies through a new bill designed to harmonize taxes, enforce electronic payments, and impose stricter penalties on unauthorized collections. The proposal was disclosed during a public hearing at the Lagos State House of Assembly on a bill titled A Law to Enact the Lagos State Harmonized Taxes and Levies to provide for the collection of taxes by the state and its local government councils and for related matters. Speaker of the House, Mudashiru Obasa, who was represented by Deputy Speaker Mojisola Miranda, described the hearing as a platform for inclusive stakeholder engagement, stressing that effective lawmaking must reflect public input.
Some members of the Lagos State House of Assembly, professionals in the finance and revenue sector, community leaders meet under one roof to deliberate on the proposed bill seeking to harmonize taxes and eliminate the collection of levies by unions and other unauthorized groups in Lagos State. Setting the tone of the conversation is the Chairman House Committee on Finance, who is optimistic that the bill will significantly impact governance and business operations in the state.
The introduction of this bill is very important because the bill seeks to establish a unified, transparent, and technology-driven framework and be in sync with the federal government tax policy as recently passed by National Assembly.
The majority leader of the House, Noheem Adams, is not pleased with the current system plagued by multiple illegal charges affecting residents and businesses.
Clause 5 of the bill prohibits any person other than the relevant tax authority from assessing or collecting taxes on behalf of the government. The clause criminalizes the mounting of roadblocks for the purpose of collecting taxes, levies, fees, or membership dues within the states.
Other stakeholders at the hearing applaud the lawmakers for initiating the process of the new bill.
It is hoped that it will introduce a lot of transparency into government revenues. It will also bring a lot of confidence to members of the public.
This harmonization initiative will not only improve our strive to promote ease of doing business, but also reinforce public trust in the state government by ensuring that all statutory collections are properly regulated and efficiently administered.
The Deputy Speaker, Mojisola Miranda, says the gathering reflects the democratic and participatory legislative tradition of the Assembly.
We do not legislate in isolation. The bill before us seeks to enact the harmonized taxes and levies, approved list for collection law. The essence of this proposed legislation is clear and timely. To establish a harmonized, transparent, and legally approved framework for the collection of taxes and levies within Lagos State and across local government councils.
Under the proposed bill titled "A Law to Enact the Lagos State Harmonized Taxes and Levies Law to provide for the collection of taxes and levies by the state and its local government councils and for related matters, any unauthorized person who collects or imposes any tax, levy or fee commits an offense and shall upon conviction be liable to a fine of 2 million naira or imprisonment for 3 years or both.
And to funding now, the Development Bank of Nigeria secured a $61 million financing package from the African Development Bank Group to expand access to credit for women-owned and women-led micro, small, and medium enterprises across Nigeria. The financing package includes a $50 million gender-focused line of credit, an $8 billion concessional facility under the Agri-Food SME Catalytic Financing Mechanism, and a $3 million grant under the Affirmative Finance Action for Women in Africa initiative, funded by the Women Entrepreneurs Finance Initiative. The fund will be channeled through DBN's network of participating financial institutions to strengthen lending to MSMEs and improve access to affordable financing for underserved entrepreneurs. A United Nations Conference on Trade and Development says developing countries are losing about 10% of their exports to G20 economies due to growing non-tariff measures and compliance barriers. According to UNCTAD's May 2026 Global Trade Update, non-tariff measures such as technical standards, certification requirements, health regulations, and administrative procedures now impose higher trade costs than tariffs for about 88% of countries globally. UNCTAD notes that exporters in poor economies often depend on third country laboratories and certification agencies because of weak domestic infrastructure, increasing costs, and reducing competitiveness in global markets. And in sports news, in the English Premier League, Enzo Fernandez cancelled out Ryan Gravenberch's strike as a relentless Anfield in Liverpool there, held by Chelsea's side whose run of 6 consecutive defeats came to an end. The result means Liverpool remain in 4th place while Chelsea stay in 9th. Sunderland were denied a rare win over Manchester United at the Stadium of Light, while Brighton climbed to 7th to boost their hopes of European qualification with a comfortable victory over relegated Wolverhampton Wanderers. Ryan's winner boosted Bournemouth's hopes of securing European football for next season with a hard-fought victory at Fulham. In the last game of the day, Manchester City kept their slender Premier League title hopes alive as Jeremy Doku inspired a 3-0 win against Brentford. And world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka, has been dumped out of the Italian Open after suffering a shock third-round exit. Sabalenka, who was the pre-tournament favorite in Rome, was defeated 2-6, 6-3, 7-5 by Sorana Kirsteyer. The Belarusian was basically frustrated with her performance on center court, muttering to herself with her shoulders slumped during an uncharacteristically sloppy display.
She's got every hope now. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, Sorana Kirsteyer. Yeah, well played. Really found some good angles there. On the verge of being knocked out. And Kirsteyer sends a seismic shot through Rome. She has beaten Aryna Sabalenka, the number 1.
And Jannik Sinner began his bid to complete the career Masters at the Italian Open in Rome with a comfortable 6-3, 6-4 victory for Sebastian Oettner of Austria, who secured his place in the 3rd round. The victory extends Sinner's dominant run on clay, further solidifying his status as the man to beat in front of an adoring home crowd. By neutralizing Oettner's powerful serve with his signature clinical returning, the world number 1 showcased the tactical maturity required to navigate the high expectations of the forward character.
From Sebastian.
It's a 29th successive victory at this level for Jannik Sinner.
And the Nigeria Basketball Federation has appointed David Fisdale as the new head coach of the country's senior men's national team, the Tigers. Fisdale brings a wealth of NBA experience to the role, having previously served as head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies and New York Knicks. 51-year-old American has expressed excitement after taking charge of the former African champions. He revealed that former The Tigers coach Mike Brown played a key role in encouraging him to accept the position. And Barcelona coach Hansi Flick has celebrated the special atmosphere at the club going into Sunday's El Clasico against Real Madrid, whose preparation for the game has been overshadowed by infighting. Barcelona will clinch the La Liga title with 3 games to spare at Camp Nou if they avoid defeat against their bitter rivals Real Madrid. However, the focus ahead of the El Clasico has been on the explosive training ground bust-up between Real Madrid players Federico Valverde and Aurelien Tchouameni, rather than Barcelona being on the brink of back-to-back league championships.
We are here, we are in this situation because we played a fantastic season as a team. And this is what I want to see for tomorrow in the Clásico. I know the intention is very high, everyone wants to see it. I think it's the best what the Spanish League and La Liga can offer, and it's fantastic, this game. Everyone in the whole world are looking about that, but at the end it's about us. So we want to play our game, we want to play our style, we want to play as a team, as a unit, and this is what I want to see tomorrow from my team, nothing else.
Mexican police officers from Jalisco State completed a crowd control training led by Spain's National Police Intervention Unit ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup in Guadalajara, one of the 3 host cities which has been plagued by cartel violence. A specialized program focused on advanced de-escalation tactics and strategic stadium security, aiming to harmonize local responses with international safety standards. By bridging the gap between domestic law enforcement and global best practices, officials hope to ensure a secure environment for fans despite the region's complex security landscape. And to all the stories outside our shores now, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is under pressure following heavy Labour election losses across England, Scotland and Wales. In Wales, Labour suffered a historic defeat, losing power after 27 years, with the Plaid Cymru now the largest party in the Welsh Parliament, while Reform in second place. In Scotland, the SNP won a 5th successive Scottish Parliament election, but fell short of an overall majority, while Reform made its electoral breakthrough. And in England, with a small number of councils yet to declare, Reform is having a huge margin, securing more than 1,400 councillors so far. And the Greens and Liberal Democrats have also made gains, while Labour has lost more than 1,300 seats at the Conservative 100. In an interview, Labour's deputy leader, Lucy Powell, said the party needs to change its approach, but to continue supporting Starmer. Meanwhile, Britons are reacting to the local election results, with the anti-immigration Reform Party emerging as a major winner and delivering a significant blow to Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Labour Party. Some voters say people are desperate for change, arguing that Starmer has failed to deliver on his campaign promises. And U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a 3-day ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine after both countries accuse each other of violating separate ceasefires declared to cover celebrations marking the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany. Following the announcement, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed Kyiv's participation, while Russian state media also reported that Russia has agreed to the proposal. Earlier, President Vladimir Putin announced a ceasefire for 8th to 9th of May ahead of Victory Day celebrations, while Kyiv had previously called for an indefinite truce starting 6th of May. Russia also warned Ukraine not to attempt any attack on Victory Day parade in Red Square, threatening to launch a retaliatory massive missile strike on the center of Kyiv if Moscow was targeted. And the main news again. The Niger Democratic Congress has zoned the presidential ticket for 2027 to southern Nigeria, reached a decision at its national convention in Abuja. Sir Adewale Adebayo has been elected as the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party for the 2027 general elections. That's all from me. Thank you for watching the news at 10. I'm Ladi Williams. Good night.
This week on Date and Abuja, we're talking politics, FCT politics to be exact. And today we are joined by someone who is going to be vying for the votes of the good people of Amak and Buari in the elections. And he says he's bringing so much to the table considering his experience as mandate secretary under Nyesom Wike. All of that and more after we update you on the major stories this week from Nigeria's presidency. This is Date and Abuja.